Your liver can have serious problems, and you feel no pain. Instead, your body sends the warning signals to a completely unexpected place, a place you see every day, but almost never pay attention to: your feet. Why would a liver, deep inside your abdomen, signal changes through your feet? And what does it mean when these signs appear long before a blood test shows anything abnormal? The liver is one of the hardest working organs in the human body. It performs over 500 vital functions. It filters toxins, regulates blood sugar, stores energy, produces hormones, and controls fat metabolism. And yet, there is one crucial detail most people don't know. The liver has very few pain receptors. That means it can be overloaded for years, accumulate fat, or slowly become inflamed, without sending a clear warning signal. While other organs sound the alarm, the liver remains silent. And that is exactly why the body has to find another way to warn you. It shifts the signals to where changes become visible early: to the periphery, to the feet. The feet are the part of the body farthest from the heart. They sit at the very end of the circulatory system. And that is precisely why they react especially sensitively to even the smallest disturbances in internal balance. A healthy liver ensures that the blood contains enough proteins, that fluid stays inside the blood vessels, and that energy is evenly distributed throughout the body. But when the liver begins to struggle, this finely tuned system starts to change. Blood flow to the periphery decreases, fluid regulation becomes imbalanced, and metabolic waste is no longer broken down efficiently. The feet are the first to react, not because they are weak, but because they are the most sensitive to metabolic stress. What becomes visible here is often not a local problem of the feet themselves. It is a reflection of what is happening inside the body, especially in the liver. One of the most common early warning signs appears at the end of the day: swollen feet, swollen ankles. Many people consider this harmless, a result of sitting or standing too long. But biologically speaking, this sign often begins much deeper inside the body. A healthy liver produces albumin, a critical blood protein that keeps fluid inside the blood vessels. When the liver is under chronic metabolic stress, albumin production slowly declines. The result? Fluid leaks out of the vessels and accumulates in the surrounding tissue. Gravity does the rest. The fluid moves downward into the feet and ankles. What many dismiss as heavy legs can actually be an early signal that the liver is no longer fully performing its regulatory function. It is not a loud alarm. It is a quiet sign. Many people notice it first during quiet moments: cold feet, even when the surrounding environment is warm. To understand this, you have to look at the liver's role in energy metabolism. The liver decides when energy is stored and when it is released. It regulates blood sugar between meals and ensures that every cell has access to fuel. When this regulation is disrupted, for example through insulin resistance or fat accumulation, energy is distributed unevenly. The body responds by prioritizing. Vital organs are supplied first. The periphery is deprioritized. Blood flow to the feet decreases. They become cold. What feels harmless is actually an indication that metabolism is no longer working efficiently. It is an adaptation, but not one that should persist long term. The liver plays a central role in detoxifying the blood. It breaks down bilirubin, a breakdown product of old red blood cells. As long as the liver functions efficiently, this substance is excreted without issue. But when detoxification capacity declines, bilirubin slowly begins to accumulate in the body. In advanced cases, this shows up in the eyes or the face. But long before that, subtle changes can appear, in a place hardly anyone checks: the feet. The skin may appear darker, yellowish, or unevenly discolored, especially on the soles and heels. These changes are often so subtle that they are easily overlooked. But biologically speaking, they indicate that the liver is beginning to reach its limits. Not an acute emergency, but an early signal that deserves attention. Not all warning signs are visible. Some are felt: a tingling sensation, a mild burning feeling, or persistent itching on the soles of the feet, especially at night. To understand this sign, you have to look at the connection between the liver and the nervous system. The liver neutralizes metabolic byproducts, medications, and environmental toxins before they reach the nervous system. When this protective function weakens, neurotoxic substances can accumulate. The sensitive nerves in the feet react particularly quickly. A diffuse irritation develops, not sharp pain, but a constant discomfort. Many people misinterpret this sensation. They attribute it to stress, lack of sleep, or aging. But biologically speaking, it can be an early sign that the liver is no longer fully able to handle the body's internal cleansing process, a signal that should not be ignored. For tens of thousands of years, humans had no blood tests, no lab values, no ultrasound images. The body had to learn to make internal problems visible externally: swelling, temperature changes, skin reactions. These signals were vital for survival. They forced people to slow down, rest, and change their environment. The liver, a silent organ without pain receptors, used exactly this mechanism. It shifted warning signs to places where they could not be ignored, to the periphery, to the hands and feet. Even today, the body still speaks the same biological language. The only question is, are we still listening? In the modern world, food is constantly available. The body is almost permanently in a state of processing, eating, digesting, storing. The liver barely has time to switch into repair mode. With every meal, insulin rises. Fat storage is activated. When this state becomes chronic, the liver begins to store fat. Metabolism slows down. Detoxification becomes less efficient. And this is exactly where the connection to warning signs in the feet emerges. When the body does not get metabolic breaks, silent disruptions accumulate. Blood flow to the periphery decreases. Fluid regulation worsens. Nerve signals change. For many people, these signs do not disappear by coincidence when metabolism recovers. Not because the feet are treated, but because the liver is relieved. Not every cold or swollen pair of feet automatically means a liver problem, but there is a point at which warning signs should no longer be ignored. When swelling increases instead of disappearing, when skin changes spread, when tingling and numbness intensify or move up into the lower legs. People who already belong to a risk group should be especially attentive. People with fatty liver disease, with diabetes or insulin resistance, with regular alcohol consumption, or with long-term medication use. In these cases, changes in the feet are no longer an isolated phenomenon. They can indicate that the liver is overwhelmed and needs support. This video does not replace a medical diagnosis, but it serves as a reminder to take warning signs seriously before they become louder. The liver does not scream. It sends no clear pain signals. Instead, it speaks quietly through metabolism, through circulation, and through the most distant parts of the body, through the feet. What becomes visible or noticeable there is often not random and not an isolated problem. It is an indication of how well internal energy flow is functioning. Whether the body is in balance or whether a central organ is already under constant strain. The key question is therefore not, is this already a disease? But rather, am I willing to recognize the early signals? Those who learn to observe their body gain time to change patterns, time to relieve the metabolism, time before silent problems become loud. If you have noticed changes in your feet, share your experience in the comments below. And if you want to understand how the liver, metabolism, and eating habits work together to determine health, subscribe to the channel. Because sometimes the most important conversation about our health begins exactly where we look the least.